My spouse insisted I pay her $5,000 each month in alimony because I was accustomed to a particular lifestyle. The judge appeared understanding until I revealed bank statements indicating she had been spending $3,000 a month on her partner. Her attorney attempted to object. The judge declared, overruled. I had just exited family court an hour ago and was still processing the events, but I needed to document this while it was fresh in my mind. I had been married to Kelly for 12 years, and thankfully, we had no children. I filed for divorce 8 months ago after discovering her infidelity. I won't bore you with the specifics, but finding hotel receipts on our joint credit card was quite enlightening. Kelly moved out right away and hired a lawyer, immediately demanding spousal support. Her argument was straightforward. She had become accustomed to a particular lifestyle during our marriage, and I was obligated to maintain it for her. The amount she requested was $5,000 a month for 5 years, totaling $60,000 a year, to help her sustain her lifestyle while she figured out her next steps. Her lawyer kept insisting that she had sacrificed her career to support our marriage and deserved compensation. However, the truth is Kelly never sacrificed anything. She worked part-time by choice because she disliked early mornings, spending most days shopping, visiting the spa, or having lunch with friends. I supported this lifestyle because I believed she was my wife and that we were building something together. It turns out she was constructing something, just not with me. My lawyer, Mike, advised me to brace for the worst since judges often sympathize with wives who claim they need support, especially when there's a considerable income gap. Kelly earned about $20,000 a year at her part-time job, while I made significantly more. The preliminary hearing took place 2 months ago. Kelly's attorney depicted her as a devoted wife who had given up career opportunities to support her husband, now facing financial struggles due to the divorce. Kelly testified about our lifestyle during marriage, including nice dinners, shopping trips, spa days, and how she had grown accustomed to a certain standard of living and needed time to adjust. Judge Williams appeared to be accepting her narrative. He asked detailed questions about our monthly expenses and nodded understandingly when Kelly expressed her fears of being left without sufficient support. Then her lawyer formally requested $5,000 monthly for 5 years, claiming it was reasonable given our lifestyle and Kelly's needs. Judge Williams looked at me and inquired if I had any response to the proposed amount. Mike stood up and said we would present our case at the next hearing in 6 weeks. That's when the real work began. Kelly made one critical error during our marriage. She consistently used our joint accounts for everything, saying it was easier than managing separate finances. I agreed because I trusted her and believed transparency was beneficial for our marriage. Kelly never considered what those account statements revealed. Every transaction, every purchase, every expense was documented with dates, amounts, and merchant names. Mike and I spent 3 weeks reviewing 5 years of bank records during discovery, and what we uncovered was intriguing. Kelly had been spending substantial amounts on activities that didn't align with her claimed lifestyle needs. There were restaurant charges for 2 people on nights I was traveling, hotel reservations when she claimed to be visiting her sister, and shopping sprees where she bought men's clothing and accessories. However, the most consistent pattern was cash withdrawals of $3,000 each month for the past 2 years, always taken out on the same day each month from ATMs near where her boyfriend Derek lived. Mike compiled a thorough analysis of Kelly's actual spending habits, organizing the bank statements by category and creating a timeline that showed expenses inconsistent with her testimony about our lifestyle. The hearing was yesterday. Kelly's lawyer went first, reiterating the same arguments. Kelly testified again about needing financial support to maintain her standard of living, how she had grown accustomed to certain expenses, and how she couldn't survive without spousal support. Judge Williams asked detailed questions about her monthly needs, and Kelly provided a breakdown of her expected expenses: rent, groceries, utilities, shopping, spa treatments, and more. Then Mike stood up for our defense. Your Honor, we would like to present evidence regarding Mrs. Kelly's actual spending patterns during the marriage and how they relate to her claimed lifestyle needs. Kelly's lawyer immediately objected, stating, "Our evidence is irrelevant to future support calculations." Judge Williams allowed us to proceed, asserting, "Financial patterns during marriage are relevant to determining appropriate support levels." Mike began with the basics: our actual household expenses during the marriage, including the mortgage, utilities, groceries, and insurance, the legitimate costs of maintaining our lifestyle. Then he presented Kelly's personal expenditures, including spa visits, shopping, and dinners out, questioning how much of our monthly budget went toward her discretionary spending beyond basic lifestyle needs. Kelly started appearing anxious, and her lawyer frequently glanced at the documents Mike was presenting. Then Mike revealed the spending that contradicted Kelly's testimony. Your Honor, Mrs. Kelly testified that she needs $5,000 monthly to maintain her accustomed lifestyle. However, the bank records show a spending pattern suggesting she has been maintaining expenses beyond what she claims. He displayed the restaurant charges for 2 people during times I was traveling, hotel expenses that didn't match her stated family visits, and shopping for men's items that couldn't be for household use. Kelly's lawyer attempted to argue that Kelly's personal relationships were irrelevant to her support needs. That was when Mike presented the cash withdrawal pattern. Your Honor, Mrs. Kelly has been withdrawing $3,000 in cash monthly for the past 2 years. These withdrawals are separate from all her other documented expenses and represent additional lifestyle costs beyond what she testified needing. He highlighted the consistent pattern of withdrawals. Same amount, same frequency over 24 months, always from the same area of town. Judge Williams examined the records carefully, asking Kelly's lawyer if they could explain the cash withdrawals that weren't accounted for in her expense testimony. Kelly's lawyer insisted that cash expenses are normal and don't necessarily indicate additional lifestyle costs. Mike countered by presenting our credit card and check records, showing that every legitimate expense was documented through traceable transactions. Groceries, gas, utilities, shopping, entertainment. Everything appeared on our cards or checks. The cash withdrawals indicated spending beyond our documented lifestyle. Judge Williams directly questioned Kelly about the $3,000 monthly cash withdrawals. Kelly claimed the money was for various personal and miscellaneous expenses she preferred to handle in cash. Mike then provided evidence that these cash withdrawals corresponded with Kelly supporting her boyfriend Derek, including bank records showing the timing and location patterns. Documentation indicated that the withdrawals began around the time Kelly started her affair. Kelly's lawyer objected, saying, "We're making assumptions about how the cash was used." Judge Williams overruled. This directly relates to her claimed lifestyle needs. If Mrs. Kelly has been spending $3,000 monthly on undisclosed expenses, that's relevant to determining appropriate support. Kelly broke down and admitted to assisting Derek with some of his expenses due to his financial difficulties. Judge Williams asked why Kelly believed she deserved $5,000 monthly support when she had been spending $3,000 monthly on undisclosed expenses during the marriage. Kelly couldn't provide a coherent response. Her lawyer tried to argue that Kelly's future needs were separate from her past spending choices. Mike kept it straightforward. Kelly claimed she needed $5,000 monthly to maintain her lifestyle. The records showed she had been spending $3,000 monthly on expenses she hadn't disclosed. Her actual lifestyle needs were significantly different from what she testified. Judge Williams took a 30-minute recess to review all the evidence. When court resumed, his decision was clear and thorough. Mrs. Kelly, the evidence shows a significant discrepancy between your testified lifestyle needs and your actual spending patterns during the marriage. You've claimed you need $5,000 monthly, while simultaneously demonstrating you've been spending $3,000 monthly on undisclosed expenses. Kelly's lawyer attempted to interrupt, but Judge Williams continued. The court finds that your claimed lifestyle needs are inflated by expenses that were not legitimate marital lifestyle costs. Your request for $5,000 monthly spousal support is denied. However, the court recognizes that you do have some legitimate transitional needs. Spousal support is awarded in the amount of $1,200 monthly for 2 years to assist with basic living expenses. Kelly began to cry. Her lawyer requested time to review the decision, but Judge Williams made his ruling final and scheduled the next hearing for final asset division. Kelly ended up with $1,200 monthly instead of $5,000. The evidence of cash withdrawals severely undermined her credibility regarding her actual needs. Update: 3 weeks later. The final divorce hearing occurred last week, and asset division went much more smoothly than the alimony dispute. Kelly's credibility was already damaged due to the bank records presentation. Her lawyer couldn't effectively argue for favorable asset splits when the judge had seen evidence of her dishonesty regarding financial matters. The cash withdrawals also influenced asset division. Since Kelly had been using marital funds to support Derek, Her share of the assets was reduced to account for the dissipation of marital property. Not dollar for dollar, but enough to make a difference. Kelly ended up with $1,200 monthly for 2 years instead of $5,000 for 5 years. She received about 40% of the marital assets instead of the 50% she expected. Derek completely vanished once Kelly's financial situation changed. It turns out that men who accept money from married women aren't interested in supporting themselves when the funds dry up. Kelly's family has been urging me to consider increasing the spousal support amount, believing that $1,200 monthly isn't sufficient for her to maintain a decent lifestyle. I informed them that Kelly's lifestyle requirements were significantly exaggerated based on her spending patterns. If she could afford to give Derek $3,000 monthly, she could find a way to live on $1,200. Mike confirmed that the ruling is solid, and Kelly's options for appeal are limited since the judge based his decision on documented evidence she provided from her own bank records. Update 2. 2 months later, Kelly's appeal was denied last month. The appellate court found no error in Judge Williams' analysis of her spending patterns and lifestyle claims. She has had to make significant adjustments to her living situation, moving to a cheaper apartment, giving up her spa membership, canceling most of her shopping subscriptions, and learning to live within her actual means instead of inflated expectations. Derek has been completely absent from her life. He deleted his social media, blocked her number, and moved away. After 2 years of financial support from a married woman, he vanished the moment it ended. Kelly reached out through mutual friends to ask if I would consider modifying the support amount, claiming she's struggling to adjust and that the $1,200 doesn't cover her basic needs. I reminded those friends that Kelly had been spending $3,000 monthly on expenses she couldn't account for. If she could afford that during our marriage, she can manage her budget now. Now, the divorce was finalized 6 weeks ago. Kelly receives her spousal support for 2 years and her reduced share of assets. She is responsible for building her own life instead of expecting me to fund it indefinitely. Final update. 4 months later, Kelly's financial reality has fully set in. The $1,200 monthly covers basic expenses, but none of the discretionary spending she was accustomed to. There are no more spa treatments, pricey dinners, or shopping sprees. She has had to increase her work hours to supplement the spousal support. It turns out that when you can't rely on someone else's money, you have to actually earn your own. Derek remains completely gone, and word through mutual acquaintances is that he has found another woman to support him financially. Kelly learned the hard way what kind of man accepts money from someone else's wife. She posted on social media about starting over and learning to be independent, but the comments from people who know the real story weren't particularly sympathetic. My life has improved significantly. The house is mine, the finances are transparent, and I no longer have to wonder where $3,000 disappears to every month. I've started dating someone who has her own career and manages her own expenses. It's amazing how much simpler relationships are when both individuals contribute rather than one person funding the other's lifestyle. Kelly learned that you can't have it all. She wanted maximum spousal support while concealing significant expenses from the court. The bank records revealed her true needs, and Judge Williams saw through the devoted wife act once he understood where our money was actually going. It's hard to claim you need $5,000 monthly when you've been spending $3,000 monthly on undisclosed expenses. Sometimes the best revenge is simply presenting the facts and allowing people to face the consequences of their own choices. Kelly's decisions cost her credibility with the court and most of the spousal support she was demanding. She received exactly what her actual documented needs supported.